One thing that I've come to learn is that in the business of making investments, it almost always feels as if you're too late regardless of whether you are or not. And that's because it's a very human trait to second guess and worry, and it's driven to an extent by our primal psychological tendency to want to hoard resources, which probably comes from the days when food was scarce and life was dangerous and unpredictable. But nonetheless, in the limited number of generations since the hunter-gatherer days, society has advanced much faster and become way more complex than our brains have, which on an evolutionary scale have barely changed at all. Meanwhile, almost everything we know and use on a daily basis today didn't exist 100 or 200 years ago. And so it's a very human trait to always second guess, and it's likely what causes so many investors to panic and sell during the hard times in the market, when the threat of losing their hard-won resources and capital is presented. And hey, if you're enjoying this video so far and psychology-based investment is something which interests you, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel as we have a lot more content like this on a daily basis. So briefly, I want to tell a story about a group of businessmen who discovered the Coca-Cola company in 1936, and then after looking at the business and the income and so on, they determined that because the value had risen so much since the founding, that the value surely could not rise any further. But considering the fact that everybody watching this video knows who Coca-Cola are and what they do, it was obviously a bad decision. And they made the terrible mistake of assuming that just because something has risen so much already, that it can't rise anymore, and they did this without consulting the business fundamentals or looking at the future potential for growth. And so the moral of this story is that you're not too late unless there is no more room for growth, and it doesn't matter what has come before, the only thing which matters is the potential for growth from this point on, and also whether the investor is willing to pay the price of a token or a share for a slice in that future growth. In the case of VET, we've seen around 2,500% appreciation over the last year, and the truth is investors today won't get the same return as investors even a year or two ago if the prices rise. I bought my VET less than a year ago for around a tenth of the current market value, and so if I were to purchase more VET today I wouldn't be getting the same percentage return as the VET I purchased last year. But the thing is that doesn't really matter. The only thing which matters is what I can get in terms of alternatives today, and even though VET has seen some pretty incredible price appreciation, in terms of saturation of the business, there is a huge way to go in my opinion. Supply chain analytics, which is the area which VECHAIN operate within, is very new and there is still a huge amount of room for growth. This industry alone is forecast to grow at a compounded rate of 20% per year, and because VECHAIN are employing the use of blockchain technology, which is a market that is growing perhaps even faster, I think that there is still a long way to go for this project. It's a very clear business trend that companies are looking more and more toward data to make business decisions regarding their product design and also the way that their products are marketed and transported. Decisions are no longer being made by people based upon judgment and intuition, but increasingly important decisions are being made based upon data. And this isn't a fly-by trend, as the demand for data is something which is evergreen and something which is likely to carry on indefinitely and only intensify over time. And while this is very scary seeing human labor being made redundant so quickly and being replaced by algorithms and AI, it's a job of the investor to block out emotion and be objective. And objectively speaking, in my opinion, VECHAIN are likely to be a huge beneficiary of this shift toward data as it's basically what they do. And having already developed a number of successful partnerships, VECHAIN are in a good position to capture further demand as the market grows, which is happening at an unbelievable rate. And so I for one think that VECHAIN still has a long way to go, although this doesn't guarantee that buying VET today will be a good investment, as the market price doesn't always correspond with value and there's always going to be risk along the way. Thanks for watching.